Charles, in your contact with ETs, what do you feel we have to do as human beings in order for contact to be brought more into the open?
Hello. I hope you can hear me back there.
Talk to the audience.
Okay. I hope you can hear. I hope you can hear me back.
No, it's the mic is for the camera, so just project to the
Oh, okay.
chin.
I hope you can hear me back there now. Yeah. I'm Charles James Hall. I'm the author of the 5-book series, Millennial Hospitality. I'm a Vietnam vet, and back in 1965 and 66, I was a weather observer for the U.S. Air Force, an enlisted man, and I was stationed for 2.5 years at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, and most of that time I spent as the duty weather observer out in the gunnery ranges at Indian Springs, which are the back door to Area 51. And I found back then that at the north end of Indian Springs Valley, the U.S. Air Force had a secret base for extraterrestrials. It's actually inside Area 53 and 54, which is inside the Area 51 perimeter, and it was the original dreamland. During my time, I spent many TDYs, including 2 in the area of the Grays, which is over in Area 52 and Area 57. I had a special clearance that allowed me to go anywhere I wanted, day or night, as long as I went alone. And that's what I'm discussing in my books. I'm very religious, and back then I was too. I was single. I'm Roman Catholic. And the tall whites, I've personally stood in front of 3 different types of extraterrestrials. The ones I call the tall whites, for which the base at the north end of Indian Springs was built by the U.S. Air Force. And I've also been in front of the Grays over in Area 52 and Area 55. And I've also been in front of the ones I call the Norwegians with 24 teeth. In Book 5, I describe what I believe happened at Roswell. Roswell had 3 craft, and they had children on board. The difference between those 3 races are they all have men, women, and children. They're all flesh and blood creatures. They all love within the race. The mothers and fathers love the children. You know, like the tall white mothers, when you would come up to them, they might reasonably start the conversation by asking me, do I understand that they love their children more than human mothers love their children? Or in other words, don't touch my kid or I'll kill you, right? Yeah, and if they didn't start the conversation that way, I would, for my own defense, to reassure them that I wasn't going to touch the kids, you see. The Grays, within each other, also the parents love the children. The Norwegians with 24 teeth, who come here from a planet orbiting either Bernard's star at 5.5 light years or the next star out, for Wolf 579, are the same way. They're just like us. Now the Grays, however, the Gray adults cannot breathe our air without a breathing device. That breathing device looks like a surgical mask. The teenagers and the children can breathe our air. And therefore, there's a bit difference between the Gray parents interact with their children and the way the white parents interact with theirs and the Norwegians interact with theirs. The tall white adults are able to breathe our air. So whenever you would see them, they would come out as family groups. They would come out, the children, you'd never see the young children alone. And the Norwegians with 24 teeth are just like us. But the Grays, because the children can breathe our air and the teenagers can still breathe our air, but the Gray adults cannot, the children would go out in their own spacecraft. That's what Roswell was, one of the playgroups, which is always at least 3 Gray craft together. One of them suffered a coil meltdown because that's their propulsion system and crashed out in the mountains of New Mexico, on western New Mexico, and during the search process 2 more were sent.